Alright, lesson 3.2 is on rational numbers. We've got lots of vocabulary to go through, so make sure you are getting the definition and you're getting the number examples. So the first one are natural numbers, and these are our counting numbers. When you are a child, these are the first things that you begin to recognize as numbers. You start to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on. Then you move on to whole numbers. They are non-negative integers. So what that means is it's the counting numbers and 0. You start to have the understanding that there is a number that represents nothing. Integers, that's what we just spent a lot of time on. Those are the whole numbers and their opposites. Positive and negative whole numbers and 0. Rational numbers. Now what rational numbers are, they can be written as a fraction, terminating or repeating decimal, and this includes all integers. So writing rational numbers or terminating decimals as a fraction. So if we want to take 6 and 1/6 and write it as a fraction, right now it's a mixed number. If you can remember, let me just rewrite this and space it out a little bit. We're going to take our denominator and multiply it by our whole number, and we are going to add it to the numerator. We do that if it's out of 6 parts, that's our denominator, and there's 6 of them. Alright, multiply that together. How many denominators would we have? We would have 36 plus 1 numerator plus 1 left over. So it would actually be 37/6. And then part B, well, this could not get any easier. If we want to make it into a fraction, all we need to do is put it over 1. Your fraction is -23/1. So now keep going, there's a couple more. Still want to write these as a fraction. Right now it's a decimal, but if you look at this, the real way to say this is not 0.64. It's it's not even 0. It's 64 hundredths, okay, 64 hundredths. So I can write that as a fraction. I've got the number 64, oh, it just went away, there we go. I've got the number 64, and I said the fraction is hundredths, so it's over 100. That 4 is in the hundredths place value. Alright, so if you want to write D as a fraction, and it's perfectly fine if it's written as a mixed number, right? But the same thing, it's 9 and 675 thousandths. So again, that's 9, whole number 9, and 675, whatever that decimal is, that's what's going to go in your numerator. And then what place value is that 5 in? It's the tenths, hundredths, thousandths. 9 and 675 thousandths. So that would be my fraction. Could we reduce that in simplest terms? Absolutely, but I am not worried about that right now. Alright, I just want to practice putting it as a fraction. Okay, so now here's where the real fun begins. Writing rational numbers as a fraction. This time, alright, with a repeating decimal. So there's a couple steps here. We're going to let n represent that repeating number. We're going to multiply by 10 if one number repeats, multiply it by 100 if two number repeats, and so on. Then third, we're going to subtract n to eliminate the repeating part. We're going to get rid of it. And then we're going to divide to get the variable alone. It's a little much, I know that. We'll be practicing this in class. Alright? And then finally, once you've done that, you can reduce the fraction to simplest terms. Alright, so let's look at an example here. Alright, so I'm going to let n represent my repeating number. And this is just going to keep on going. And then, since it is one decimal, or one digit that's repeating, I'm going to multiply it by 10. Alright, once I multiply it by 10, so this is going to be 10n is equal to 6.666, and that keeps on going. Now I need to subtract n from 10n to eliminate the repeating part. So I'm going to subtract n. And n is 0.666 repeating. That's going to leave me with 9n, and this is just going to be 6. And now I'm going to divide by the variable. So n is going to give me 6/9, and then I can reduce that to be 2/3. Alright, that's a lot of work to change to a fraction when you've got a repeating decimal. So I want to look at 0.42 repeating. Alright, get a little room here. So same thing, I'm going to let n, there we go, be my repeating decimal. Now I need to multiply. This time I'm going to multiply it by 100 because there are 2 place values being repeated. So I've got those 2 zeros in 100. So then I'm going to have, let's see, 100n is equal to, and that keeps on repeating. Just put those dots. And now I need to subtract n. So it's going to give me 99. 100 n's minus 1 n. It's going to give me 99n. And then finally I'm going to divide by 99. I know, it's a lot of work. Alright? It's a little crazy, but that's how you can do it. It's not impossible. Right? So you can change any decimal into a fraction, any number into a fraction. Alright, so we are going to be trying that tomorrow. Alright, see you then.